reasons that it makes sense to me both that you would write it and want it directed is it's so personal. And one of the things that was interesting to me is you obviously said it closer to when you grew up.
Yeah.
And so, no cell phones, which was such a fun thing to watch a high school movie where cell phones is not a plot point.
I know, you could not know where someone was.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so much more helpful for storytelling that you just...
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. For any story, it's good to not know where anybody is.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a good
because
thing.
usually huge plot points are either that person showing up or...
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So, no, it was, I like on my film sets, and now I can say that on my one film set, but I like nobody has cell phones anyway. I don't like having cell phones on set because I think it helps the actors to concentrate. But I had a young cast, like, 18 to 22.
Yeah.
There were a lot of young people, and everyone was like, good luck with that. Like, they'll never give up those phones. But I sold it to them as being about, it's an acting thing.
Oh, and they bought
I was
in.
Like, yeah. And I was like, this is for your acting. And they were like, oh, great.
You also, I thought this was really cool, you had your crew wear name tags.
Yes.
And not just their name, there would be a different question, a different
Yeah.
answer every day?
Yeah, well, I had everyone wear name tags because I feel like for actors, especially if you're coming in for like a day or 2 days, it's hard to get to know everyone, and it made everybody a person. So I had a name tag, everybody had a name tag, and then there's a PA who's wonderful, Dana, who came up with the question of the day every day, and it would be a trivia question, or sort of like a conversation started like, what was your go-to karaoke song? Or what would you do if you didn't do this? Or what is a movie that you know you should like but you don't?
What was a movie that you know you should like but you don't?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, wow.
It's so beautiful, but there's something about it that gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I mean, Audrey Hepburn's glorious, and but it's just true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, if you're creeped out, you're creeped out. That's just, there's no getting around that.
I think that is true.
Another thing that strikes me as it was very personal was the music choices.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, when there's a song you really want in a movie, you have to get permission to use it.
Yeah.
And you personally reached out to some people via letters.
Yes, I wrote some letters.
Like, for example, and I do feel like these songs were they kind of had to be those songs.
Yes, they had to. I had written them into the script. They were very specifically those songs.
And so you wrote Alanis Morissette, a
Yes.
nice letter. And what were some of your selling points to her?
Well, so I have been a fan of yours my whole life. The very first cassette tape I ever bought was Jagged Little Pill. I would listen to Perfect over and over in my living room, memorizing the lyrics. I remember bringing that same cassette to a sleepover party where we all played our favorite songs for each other. I played Hand in My Pocket because my mother told me that Perfect might be a little too heavy for a 5th grade slumber party. I saw the film Dogma because I read that you played God, which seemed totally fitting to me.
Yeah. And you think Breakfast at Tiffany's is creepy?
Yeah, I know. This is an example of my creepiness.
No, but this is really great. Wait, you have to, you wrote Dave Matthews.
Yes.
And obviously you've moved on. I like that you moved on from
Yeah.
Cassettes to CDs, because you knew that you couldn't tell him it was his first cassette.
Yeah, these were my very first CD purchases. And I made my dad take me to see you and your band perform when you came to Sacramento. And I said that the song Crash Into Me, which is the song in the movie, was the most romantic song ever, underlined. And then I said, thank you so much for considering the request. I wish I could go back in time and tell my 16-year-old self that this moment was coming. She'd never believe me, but truth be told, my 32-year-old self can hardly believe it either.
I like that the moment you can't believe is that you're writing him a letter.
I know. Can't believe it. Can't believe my letter.
And Justin Timberlake as well, and they all said yes. Was that?
Yes. Oh, the Justin Timberlake, that has a really awkward beginning.
Oh yeah, let's. I gotta hear.
Yeah.
Like I like that you're embracing your awkwardness.
Dear Mr. Timberlake. I mean, what can I say? You're Justin Timberlake. You were the soundtrack to my adolescence. Your rise corresponded exactly with my very awkward puberty. And then it just gets worse.
Yeah, I pretty much wouldn't be an adult without you. That's the nicest thing you could say to anyone. That's heartbreak. Your parents, when they hear that, they'll be heartbroken.
Like, this was Justin Timberlake's doing? What were we doing all that time?
Well, I'm glad it paid off
Yes.
because it's hard now to imagine the film without those songs.
Yeah.
And congratulations on making such a beautiful piece of film.
Thank you.
Greta Gerwig,